Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on the market. So SPY had a weak day today. We started with a higher open and we knew to be looking for an hourly lower high because the bounce that took place all during after hours and pre-market, we knew that we were likely to form a lower high compared to 260.65, and anything under that level did nothing to change the hourly trend. So we headed into the morning saying, all right, let's look for weakness. Let's look for the lower high, clues that the hourly lower high has been set. We got that bear break, so the lower high was set. Another hourly lower high, unable to break the high of the day. Another lower low, broke that low of yesterday, had a wild end of the day action on a significant bull move into the close, and then gave it all back after hours. So the market is being a bit irrational heading into the FOMC and the Fed information on the rates tomorrow. The market is pricing in rates being raised. There's a 98% chance that that's going to happen at this point, or in the 90s. That's obviously extremely high, so that's what the market's going to price in. And I would imagine that if we do not get rates to be raised, the market is going to respond bullish initially, but we better be very cautious, because if that bull move does not hold, it's a huge red flag for the market as a whole. If we do get rates raised, perhaps we get a bearish reaction initially, but I would be looking for a bit of a bounce in response to that. So SPY, at the end of the day, we ended up, again, barely holding the 253s level. I mean, barely breaking 253.53, 253.28. So that's the support level we're looking at. And if that breaks, we're looking down at 252.39 as the next support level on SPY. IWM, bears continue in control, daily inside bar, week close, pretty much just looking at the inside bar, 136.29 and 136.16 supports. The weekly time frame is a 3-week in a row dump. QQQ, the tech sector, daily inside bar, break a 157.04 is bearish, break a 159.95 is bullish, so we'll see how that breaks tomorrow. Has to break bullish for the market to see any kind of bounce, and if it does, we'll be watching for just a lower high compared to 167.60. The weekly time frame, lower highs and lower lows continue, and on any bounce, we're looking for just lower highs on both the daily and the weekly time frame. Financial sector, weakness continues. Lower highs now 5 days in a row. Inability to see any kind of bounce follow through. The daily RSI is oversold, and if we see a bearish reaction to the FOMC out of this sector tomorrow, I'm going to be looking for the potential of a quick turnaround for the bulls to show up and start some of that oversold bounce, because in my opinion, a lot of this downside action is that FOMC being priced in. The weekly time frame, again, 3-week straight dump, due for an oversold bounce in the financial sector. And the VIX bulls did get a bull break of resistance over 25.94, although not much follow through behind it. Next resistance is 27.86 and 28.84. Bulls still in full control and trying to close over the weekly upper Bollinger Band resistance. Going to need another leg up before the end of the week in order to do so. Oil is now becoming, I shouldn't say now, but continues to be extremely important in this market bounce, in my opinion. And what comes to my mind is how oil marked the rally back on a dump in February 2016 for the S&P 500. Oil put out there was a bullish tweet put out about oil and an OPEC deal. Right as SPY hit a double bottom, there was a lot of fear in the market at that point in time, and the oil bounce and the SPY bounce lasted for months in response to that. So oil has fallen off a cliff 3 months in a row. The top of the bull move was marked with the top of the S&P 500 at all-time highs. We have dumped 3 months in a row. 42.08 is key support. We're looking for a higher low to form compared to that level, and for a bounce to take place to form a monthly lower high. And on the weekly time frame, we saw a bit of a bounce attempt, ended up just being a bear flag. We got a 10% bounce, but it followed through with weakness, and we're oversold on a ton of time frames, which tells me that the market bounce is likely going to correlate with when the bounce in oil is for real, and at this point, we don't have any sign of that. So the weekly RSI is down at 25, and we scroll back. When's the last time the weekly RSI was down at 25? And it was during the all-out dump in 2014, where we went from 107 to 26. Huge collapse in the oil price. So weekly RSI has not been this oversold in multiple years. We go to the daily chart, the daily RSI getting back to oversold now. The 4-hour RSI is down in the low 20s at 22. And we scroll back to the dump from $76. And every time we get into the low 20s or just below 20, we look for a bounce. So it's time to start looking for an oversold bounce on the 4-hour time frame. That won't do much to change the trend. We need a daily trend change. We need a weekly trend change. But the bottom line is I do believe that a shift in the momentum of oil and the daily trend on oil is going to give us a bounce in the S&P 500 to form a weekly lower high. The last weekly lower high was up at 280. We know that next time we bounce on SPY, we're going to form a weekly lower high compared to that level, but I do believe it will be oil as the catalyst for that bounce to take place. So I'm going to be monitoring oil every day as always, watching for any kind of sentiment change. But as far as the rest of the week goes, keep an eye on that oil 4-hour RSI, looking for a short-term bounce, again, just to set lower highs, but certainly due after the size of the pullback that we did see today. So I appreciate you watching. We'll continue to check back in. Hope you have a good rest of your night.